pushing with Fly in the top and the other four kind of poking at the mid, but being very cautious here, not really overcommitting or forcing the issue, just trying to keep Cloud9 split and prevent them from farming. They already took out this big stack of Ancients that Cloud9 had, so even though they're not pushing that aggressively, they're still stopping Cloud9 from farming and pulling further ahead. Now Fly gets his Aghanims completed, has it delivered, and they'll further the split push. 2 in the bottom, 2 in the mid, and 1 in the top.
So the BKB becomes less and less of a good item for the Gyrocopter. He's only got 1,600 HP on the Strength Treads, and now Lina does 950 pure of that, and they don't have a Grave. What's the solution? I don't even know if there is one anymore. Like Decrep isn't a solution, really. It stops some physical damage, but...
Yeah, I guess it can maybe keep him alive after the Laguna comes out if there aren't raises to follow, but that's even still kind of scraping the barrel. All right, it's more slow siege here. Swindle with about 2 minutes left on his Aegis. Wouldn't mind getting popped here so that he can come back to life. Though, of course, would like to keep it as long as possible. Envy uses the BKB again to juke the stun. Now out comes the call down. Connects on 3. Swindle will throw away the Aegis intentionally here with that second call down. Tier 3 towers down. There is still a glyph for the Dire. Now Complexity in a great spot. Ziz will use his BKB. God Strength popped as well. They want to go for the barracks. The glyph will force them to back out and reset. But now Moon comes in. Big vacuum wall, but falls just a little bit short. Big opportunity there, but can't quite seize the day, and maybe Complexity will just back out.
And Misery also stole Warcry there, so that'll make it much harder for Shadow Fiend to do damage to any core, and even the Sven is going to be a bit limited there. So I think that was a good time to retreat for Complexity. They lost their Aegis, they whiffed their ultimates. It's time to retreat and play it safe. They're already still ahead. Back off, farm a little bit. Your opponents are going to know exactly where you are because you tracked up all of them, but at some point those will time out, and then they still have to kind of sit in their base. Yeah. Maybe they should go for like a 5-man smoke right now. Just grab the smoke, move out, go for kills while they still
they found Envy off to the side. He's in a lot of trouble here. He gets a call down. He does have the BKB available. Glimmer Cape just barely keeps him alive. Now Ziz and Z-Freak will be turned on. Moon Meander nearby, but can't do much to save his friends. Z-Freak charging across. Homing Missile will chase him down, but he'll make as much space as possible before dying. The rest of his team hanging out that mid lane of Barracks saying, let's go for this. They're all committed far out of the base. Yeah, Gem goes down. A lot of TPs home, and unfortunately for Complexity, they won't get much damage, if any, on these barracks here in the mid. So
that's exactly what you got to do after you defend from the base. You have to go for those kills, and they found 2 import heroes, and they got the gems. That means no more C and Viz for Complexity. That means Bounty can start moving out a bit more. They can find all the observer wards on the map, of which there are almost none. So maybe in a bit here we'll see Complexity put wards, and probably in slightly worse positions because they do have to put them on the high ground.
Peculiar ward spot here. I think they were going for that big spot up here, perhaps, but wasted observer.
That one is very peculiar, actually. Maybe they don't know about the high ground spot, but I completely agree with you. There's no point to put it there if you could put it up on the top. It might have been a mistake. Maybe he was trying to do a sentry, and it was during the team fight, so he accidentally placed that instead.
Swindle in the danger zone here, being stalked out by Big Daddy. But it will be all right for now. Full Daedalus on the Shadow Fiend. So seeing that early MKB will alter his build. Last game he went for the BKB at this point after the Scotty.
The Butterfly.
The Butterfly, I'm sorry. But now going for the Daedalus.
I like the Daedalus here, especially because the Sven has been lacking in damage big time. He's easily an item behind the Gyrocopter. He's just got his AC, which is great, but his damage against a single target is good but not amazing, and it's also very limited around his ultimate. His damage is poor when he doesn't have his ultimate up, so he needs to make up for that, and he needs to go for the big item.
Might find Big Daddy. They might get their gem back. He's carrying the gem. Sentry Ward out of range, but they've got another one. Down he goes.
So close.
Huge for Complexity as they can regain some map control and, of course, have something to deal with that Bounty Hunter.
That was a great attempt by Bounty Hunter to stay alive. He Glimmer Caped. It almost went off in time, but he was still slightly within Sentry Ward range, so he ends up getting killed, and the gem is recovered. And Complexity pressure's back on. Dead hero as well, so this gives him a chance to push. Oh, but a Butterfly up for Gyro. That means that they can't hit him reliably, so his HP is much higher now versus physical damage.
But it also means he doesn't have buyback. He's gone all in on this item here. No buybacks available for Cloud9 whatsoever, including Big Daddy, who is in the grave already.
Blink.
Ziz with the BKB, God Strength on. They get the melee barracks, and now they just back out. They see that Envy's used his BKB. They absolutely don't want to fight this now as they've already gotten their objective.
Are they going to Lotus Orb this? Will it reflect? I'm not sure.
I think you have to have the Lotus Orb on when he casts it, not when it hits.
That's kind of weird, because it's the opposite for Linken's. They changed the way Linken's works now. But I guess it would be a little too good if you could do that.
Yeah. So I believe that's...
Yeah. So again, the Blink after in the late game scenario with Sven. But the important thing with that is it allows him to land a stun. He's been throwing stuns up, but people can very easily Blink dodge it at this caliber. They're looking for a kill, though. This is what they need to do. They're smoking out of their base. They can't initiate on Spirit Breaker. They need to grab more heroes than just that.
Yeah, they're trying to bait with Envy here, but it seems like Complexity are suspicious
It's obvious.
Of a gyrocopter by himself this far forward.
This is the first time they've left the base in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course it's suspicious when he just walks up. He's willing to farm aggressively, but it's always in hidden areas. It's never in the mid lane. So Complexity are completely reading this action from Cloud9.
Oh, now Cloud9, they take the high ground.
This is good.
He's going to walk right into it. He has the BKB, but can't even get it off. A nice quick pick on the Sven. Lena's not even here, but Misery will...
Oh,
he gets off the Glimmer. He'll stay alive. Now Swindle. BKB Requiem connects only on Envy. Phase shift from Fata will keep him safe, and yeah, he'll get surged back. He'll be all right. Fata, he did have to burn his Dream Coil, but still, Cloud9 want to continue fighting. Envy goes in, call down, connects on Moon Meander, but again, the Glimmer Cape helps him reset, and he'll be just fine.
That was pretty good damage control for Complexity. They only got the melee barracks, and they played it safe by backing off, but losing the Sven there, maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Like, I think they were really sure that C9 was still mid lane, and they did a very nice wraparound there. It was obvious that their opponents kind of thought they were there, and like you can't just walk uphill like that. It's very, very dangerous because, especially if you're a BKB carrier, because you just die, and his team wasn't there to back him up either. Not that a Glimmer Cape was going to save him. I think he was dead no matter what. So a big kill, and that allows C9 to grab the Aegis. So
Aegis and Cheese. This is Roche number 3.
Yeah.
So big pickup there. They did put down 3 Observer Wards in this mid lane, but the Gem still on the Spirit Breaker. He's just going to clear those out.
will they find the ward mid? Is that? Oh yeah, they didn't actually see it. They'll probably catch that later. Jaro grabs Aegis. Again, he's got MKB and a Butterfly, so his items are actually in a good position here. He's got the advantage over the Butterfly that Shadow Fiend might eventually pick up, and they don't have the MKB against the Gyro. Though I think Shadow Fiend will build it next. Again, with the Sven being a little underfarmed, he's got to commit the Shadow Fiend, that is, to the full damage, in my opinion. So once he gets that, Gyro will again be no problem. But until then, it's a little unreliable.
Well, Big Daddy gets a courier snipe. Minor victory there. It did have just a singleton smoke.
That's an impact. I don't know if he checked the items before he hit it or not, but that should give them the knowledge that the smoke ganks are not likely for a bit. Looks like they do have an extra one.
Yeah.
They haven't been smoking that much. It's kind of an interesting way to play. They just have such good team play fundamentals that they don't even need to smoke. They know where their opponents are. They pressure the lane very well by themselves. They just always know where their opponents are in most cases, with the exception of the last death. But it seems like they're not relying on smokes to get advantage like a lot of teams do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely not. Though they will buy that next one straight away. Fly's already picked it up, so they will try to smoke.
There's a BKB on Lino. What the heck? But the Ags on Puck makes things a little harder. The way this works is if you cast it on somebody pre-BKB, if they BKB and run through the Puck ult, it'll still trigger. Mm-hmm. So if he gets shown here on the map, might see Eternal Envy dying.
Glimmer
If Puck shows his Ags on the map, and Complexity see this, they'll adjust their play. But if he comes from darkness, ulties, there's a real chance of stunning all of the BKB carries for 4 seconds or whatever the heck the huge duration is. 4.5 seconds on the break stun duration. So even though they have BKBs, it's massive.
Yep. Cuts right through. One of those reveals you want to use to as much of an advantage as possible. Z-Freak, he is the gem carrier, very far forward, but does have a Shadow Blade. Just needs to be a little bit careful. Definitely does not want to go for solo kill onto Bone 7 as Fata is in the neighborhood. Though, Sven doing the same. He comes up with the Blink Dagger, forces Fata into a more defensive position, and now Z-Freak goes right onto Bone 7. Fata's nowhere to be found, and this should be a nice, easy solo pickoff here. He does have an Aghanim Scepter, so he can keep spamming out that life drain, but it's not going to be enough. BKB used by Ziz, and they'll just chop him to pieces.
I really don't like his item build this game. The Soul Booster was cool because Pugna does need some HP in the early game, but if you're going to build all of these other items after you build the Soul Booster, what's the point, man? Just get a Vitality Booster and build something else. He could use the Soul Booster, the Point Booster in the Soul Booster to just build an Ags. And he had Brown Boots almost the entire game. That could have been an Arcane Boots. All of these items that he spent, he was probably the best performing, at least best farming on his team in the early game, with the exception of maybe Gyro. And he just didn't get that much value and that much utility out of it. And I wonder if this game could have been different. He played last game fantastic, and he had a good start here, but his itemization, I think, has really hurt him this game.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. If he could have gotten that Octarine, it potentially could have made a difference, but now we'll hold that thought as Big Daddy gets set up on the turn from Fata, but now the follow-up's there. He does phase shift the stun. Big Daddy gets Glimmer Cape. That'll help them reset this fight once more. Fly caught by the stolen LSA. Now he's Glimmer Cape. Lotus Orb onto Ziz. Another phase shift from Fata. Ziz will use his Warcry here with God's Strength coming up in just about 5 seconds. Minor exchange, but
that was really nice poking from both teams. Like, as soon as Misery stole the stun, he just went right back in. And both teams just positioning. Like, that was amazing positioning from Complexity. The fact that nobody else died there, on their team at least, they immediately glimmer caped as soon as they saw danger. It was really well done. They're thinking a step ahead consistently in these team fights, and it shows.
Yeah, now the Vladimir's offering picked up by Z-Freak. More armor coming out for Complexity, itemizing in a similar fashion as they did in the last game against the Gyro with the AC on top of the Warcry, on top of the Vlads. It makes a big difference against this flat cannon, and we already talked about that Crimson Guard that was picked up a while ago. More big items, though, here, Purge. Envy secures his Satanic as the Shadow Fiend gets his MKB. So
his damage is good now. We don't always see this with SF. A lot of times they build for tankiness into HP, and then eventually one damage item. Well, he's got 2 on top of all that tankiness and HP. So this is the part where Shadow Fiend is very, very serious as a damage dealer because he has that free built-in AC more or less because of the -6 armor from his presence. And, of course, he's got Necromastery. So he's actually a pretty good late-game hard carry. He's not the best, but he's very solid based on his farm rate. And Swindle Melons has played excellent this game. He's got 474 last hits. It is incredible. 5-1 and 4, awesome performance from him. But the only lacking that he got out of this is that the mech is gone. He had to sell it because at this stage in the game, a damage item is far better. So they have slightly less heal going into their team fights from here on out.
yeah, this is that point where it would be nice if the Darks here could get Guardian Greaves.
That
or
would be
something
okay,
like that.
I think. Mech is kind of weak late game because it's such a low percentage of your heal. But it might be worth it, honestly, as the next item. It adds a lot of value, and it's only about a 4,000 gold item for the upgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of expensive, but
dealing with slots will be the next big issue here.
the
but
charge is coming and they're split.
they're going for Eternal Envy. He's the
I think
charge
they can get
target.
him.
They've got the gem as well.
Oh,
Oh,
the
stun on
damage.
2. The cleave from Sven. The 2 from Cloud9 just